Cool, cool. Okay. What's going on, Nika? All right. What's up, everybody on YouTube and in the Discord? Going back live again. I promised if we were going to actually do some nice movement today, I would do another live stream. Hopefully, all the VIPers in the Discord caught that long with me. It was nice
Nah,
little
bro, you
setup.
didn't give me the bat signal.
Yes. So this was kind of the thing I was looking for. You had the tap 1, you had the tap 2, and that's exactly where I was looking for this accumulation to be filled out for that tap 3. And that's usually the spring, right? So that's exactly what I was looking for. All right. And you had that touchdown. We didn't quite get back to the previous day low. That would have been preferred. However, you got your signals right in there. And price did decide to take off from there. So now we are seeing quite a bit of resistance at the previous day high. This larger time frame resistance area, just looking at this contraction. And that's when I was saying, or that's why I was saying in the Discord in the updates that, hey, we could come up to this area, but I'm kind of expecting a little bit more chopping here throughout the day. And then at some point, you get that push up. Hello.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm hearing something over there. Did anyone catch that long?
Yep.
Nice.
I did.
Nice. Very, very good, man. So yeah, I've already taken profit. I've taken a lot off the table here.
Same.
Once we
Same.
had,
I
yeah,
almost took everything.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard not to, but as you can, in these moments, I always like to zoom out, especially here on like the 5-minute. We didn't even see any kind of bearish candle here. We did get that. It started to look like a small bearish candle on that back test of New York Open, but sometimes you just kind of have to wait it out and see what actually confirms and prints, right? So,
Yep.
Make sure that volume's up for y'all as well. Hopefully it is. Let's take a look, see what we can see here. So yeah, of course we have that resistance area, right? Previous day high, we have that high time frame trend line, but what's really doing the work? The people, right? The people with the orders. It's not the trend line, it's not the level. At the end of the day, it's the people around those resistance levels. And that's what we're watching for. We're watching for that battle of how this 210 aggressive buying orders are trying to knock down this wall of about 700 plus. That's not enough orders to knock down that wall. So that's why we get these scenarios of price stopping, potentially having a pullback. And again, maybe we come back down, form a minor or very micro accumulation to start giving us that nice break and retest model. However, going back to this, I wouldn't be surprised if we just continue this internal structure here for a little bit and let it wind up. And then that's where we can look for some kind of pre-signal, right? It'll give us another chance to set up for another trade, whether we're going to break out in a long or break out in a short.
I have a question.
Yo, hit me.
So, did you do anything with the footprint clusters? I mean, the auto sizing, the rows, or whatever.
So
When you go to row and scaling, and you go to row size, did you leave it on auto or you're on custom?
I've messed around with it all weekend. It's kind of screwy. And I'm still trying to figure it out, to be honest with you. Because if you go to
I'm
global,
currently on
yeah,
125. I'm on a daily custom and 125, and I mean it's manageable.
yeah. Usually I'm leaving it on auto. But again, it's not doing anything on auto, right? It's not auto scaling the ticks like it used to. I'm going to send a message, or rather, I'm going to search on the Discord on Market Monkey first to see if the question's already been asked or if somebody's kind of already updated in the feedback area.
Mhm.
I'm sure someone has
Global
already
seems a
mentioned
bit
it.
nice.
What did
Global
you say?
seems a bit nicer.
Yeah,
Global seems a bit nicer, and you can see finally inside the clusters the majority of the volume.
yeah. So, and again, it depends on what your global is set to. Mine's currently set to
Uh,
75. Um,
I'm on 200, but
yeah,
if I go to 75 is like I need to zoom out too much. But if I maybe put it on 125, maybe 100. Yeah,
yeah,
100 is okay. I mean,
yeah. Right now, I'm kind of liking the 100. That's kind of
okay,
not
I'll
not
test
too
it with
bad
100
there.
for
But
today, and let's see now what's really going on. And the heat map, can you make the digits bigger? It's too
mm,
small.
that I do not know, man. It should auto scale. Everything should auto scale, in my opinion. Kind of like, I mean, you see it
Yeah,
here,
but
very small.
mine is the same. Mine
Yeah.
is the same. I mean, yeah, you need to zoom out like this, zoom in like this, so you can see it, which is kind of
Hmm.
crazy.
Not sure, man. I mean, they're doing like several updates every single day.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
As you can probably already tell, because you have to click the button every time you come to the screen, pretty much, right? So, um,
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be ironed out eventually. I
Yeah,
think they're kind of
yeah, let's
working on a lot of things right now with the new V5. Um, but I will say, at least they're very, very fast on doing tons and tons of updates. So, but no,
yeah.
we definitely need to pop my head in there and say hello and ask the question, "What's up? What's going on with this?" But I would not doubt that someone else has already mentioned this to them.
I'm
Um,
sure. I'm sure.
yeah, usually when we have situations like this in due time without even saying anything, it usually gets fixed. So I'm sure it will at some point, unless there's some reason that they did away with it. But I mean, again, it's like you still have the auto up there and it's not doing the auto thing. Um,
Hmm.
but we'll see. So you did get that CBD divergence here, trapping these players right here. This 666 already trapped, 710's already trapped, seven, almost six, another six here, so on and so on.
But then you have the other divergence.
Yeah. Um, go. Where's my book map? Oh, I got to get book map fired up. I had to close it out. Yes, please.
I
Let that
wanted to
load.
short, but just because of the absorption down there and how CVD is going lower and lower, and its but price is just not moving lower. So I think there will be another short squeeze here.
Yeah. So let's take a look at positioning real quick. We can see this entire move was, nice. It was supportive.
Yeah,
Not only
yeah.
did we start stopping some people out, but majorly speaking, it was longs opening up and
Hmm.
shorts closing all at the same time. So this is that
Yep.
scenario. Get familiar with what this looks like right here. This is what you want to see on a supportive long. So if you're in a long and you see this, stay in it. Let it sustain. This is sustaining aggression. So what I think is going to happen, you just well, I don't want to predict anything because things can change in a flash, of course. But what I would like to see happen is a small pullback and that reaccumulation. We start the bull flag type scenario, or reaccumulation, 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 right? So That's what we see in an uptrend. And the uptrend's already started. And if we can really break these highs, or at least get to them, right? We already know that that's going to probably have a nice explosive move. Now, if it actually goes anywhere or if it dies out, either way, I'm going to take a look at it and see what happens with open interest as that move pops up above these highs here to see if I need to take profit. So, what am I looking for? We break these highs. I'm looking to see if open interest and longs continue to sustain in an upward fashion. This wall's gotta be broken down though for sure, and they're reloading. Go back here. No, thank you. No updates for me today. Okay. I got my rhythmic fixed, everyone. Who would have thunk it? It was my VPN. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably happened to me about a half a dozen times, and I forget about it every time. I'm like, why is my rhythmic not working? Then I have to end up calling my broker, and he tells me, GP, do you have your VPN on again? And I'm like, shit. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm an idiot. One of those situations, right? But I would say you live and you learn, but I guess I haven't learned, or my memory's just getting old, getting too damn old. So that is a pretty that's a pretty good slope on that CVD there. I'm not gonna lie, that's a very nice divergence. Um, but again, that divergence can play out
Should
and
have
then it reaccumulate
should have
into that
shorted.
pattern, right? So,
Yeah, I should have shorted. God damn it.
well, unfortunately, I cannot hedge on my account, so still in the long.
Yeah, just CVD is way too low, so maybe to come here a little bit, just a little bit lower, and start pumping up again. Maybe, I don't know.
So let's take a look. Okay, so we're trying to reclaim that larger value area. And I mean, this is a good location for a short. That's it's definitely a nice setup. It's got everything you kind of want to see, right? Um, what I'm looking for next, if we come back down, I want to see it come back down to this area here. This fresh daily point of control, the daily open. I would want to see it do that kind of thing if we are going to actually break out in this area or in today's session. And this is when I also go check out the sessions. Yeah, so we have that session value area high here, the previous value area high here. We can really start in the previous point of control right there at that fresh daily. We start breaking underneath that. I need to see an accumulation around this area for me to want to stay in this long. Of course, my stop loss is trailed up, moderately aggressive, not very aggressive. Um, so I could get stopped out, which is fine. I'll get out of that trade, and if I see an accumulation, all the confirmations, all over again, same thing we did here. I'll hop back into that trade. So no big deal either way. Do want to mark out this 30. I'll knock this one off the chart too. I'm going to set an alert here, set an alert here, and I want an alert right here because this is where this higher time frame and this new order block overlap. Y'all already know sometimes that small space where they overlap, sometimes that area gets hit to the dollar. Not all the time. but it's definitely something I've taken note of time and time again, enough to where I like to keep the old one on and watch for that overlap. And yeah, if we come back down into this already mitigated order block, would I play it again if we, you know, SFP this low and maybe even this low? So we SFP into that daily. Would I take it and use this order block again? Absolutely. Yes. Do that all the time. Until a candle closes beyond here, I usually keep them unless a newly formed order block takes its place and looks better. We have new nice displacement like this one did. All right, let's go back down to the 5. All right, this is where I want to go into bookmap here. So you had that nice microstructure shift here, breaking back below SVP, point of control on bookmap. We do have this guy reloading pretty heavy. He's still sitting there, willing to defend this level. However, has dropped a little bit through here, so have to see and gauge that interest once price gets back up to there. If it does, let's take a look, see what's happening here. We're already starting to get that slight bullish CVD divergence here. Price moving up, CVD still moving down right here. A little bit more of a micro divergence. Let's zoom out just a little bit here. I'm going to take a look at the whole move. And that's where you kind of have this low to this low potentially putting in, where you're getting that bigger, wider hidden bullish divergence, which is what you want to see on a continuation. So I'm still hanging in this. I'd like to see at least come back up to here and retest it. Maybe SFP this high, take out the premature shorts, and see what happens at that battle again. Yeah, very nice wider accumulation here. And you had that last tap, which also had its own accumulation here. Just textbook, right? Hopefully everybody's getting used to this by now. I do the same thing every single day. And this is actually a really, really good Wyckoff here. Because you can see, hold on. Let's just, where's my, there we go. Take that off. Take that off just momentarily here. So you see that each tap can have its own little Wyckoff model too, own little accumulation. So that makes up the bigger Wyckoff. You see this every single time, and this is how you can get those sniper entries. So even just looking at price line, even if you're not paying attention to order flow, you see this happening over and over and over again. And this is just part of that pattern recognition. You can go back and back test this over and over and over again and just get used to how these play out all over the chart through tons of all time frames. It's all fractal, right? And here we go. Coming back up to that high. Let's get past the point of control. And you're consolidating right above it. You broke through it. Come on. No, don't form a little distribution here. Pump it. There we go. Okay. Zoom back out just a little bit. I don't want to be too zoomed in. Okay. So this is a unfinished auction. Expect that zero to get tapped into. There we go. A little something that's pretty weak, but come on. At least it's fixed. Okay, so the next thing I want to look at here, I want to look at positioning on this move up to give me an idea. Can we sustain aggression through this area? Well, longs are pretty flat. Some things opening up and closing, but we do see shorts coming out. So I'd expect it to take the high, hopefully on forced exits, and then continue firing off and firing off again. Same thing here. All of these highs here. And this is might be an area where you start to look for a spike, where you see a massive trade here on the clusters, but you're first going to see it over here on the tape. So when you come to a level, just like we are now, this is that moment. Here's 15, there's 15, there's 39. There you go. That was it, right? So that is what you look for in breakouts or continuations if you're already in a long and you want to see if it's going to sustain. You saw those aggressors coming in. You saw when to press the button.
Yoo-hoo.
You didn't have to wait for this whole candle to get above, did you? No, you didn't. You saw the writing on the wall before the break. And that was a great example of a breakout. But now that fuel is spent, that forced exit fuel is done. So what has to happen now? New longs have to come in. See, look at this. They pushed, but got pushed back down. So that's a flush, meaning they came in, but also came out, right? So at this point, I really want to see this next candle open up and make one of these candles right here. Same thing in open interest. Or else this is going to be the high. So far, decent. You see longs coming through. Look at your tape. Again, it'll jump out at you, right? It's going to be bright. Boom. Cluster. That's good. Do you see any of the clusters on the purple side as high as the blue, or are they coming in as fast? So we're trying to judge both sides. We do have a little wall up here as well. Okay. Previous week high coming in. I think we can make it up there. What do y'all think? There's a pretty big order on the short side there. So maybe we come back down and then put in another accumulation right at the top of this demand range here. And you can take a look at where the trades came in. So there's 1,000 longs right here. Damn near 1,000 longs through here too. So that's 3,000. Almost there too. So you have several thousand longs coming in here. Now, yes, some of them were shorts as we took these highs, getting out of their short, turning into these longs. And that's again why we need to see some follow through here. We are finally getting an uptick candle, bullish candle and open interest, meaning open contracts coming from longs. That's the first sign you want to see. So hopefully I'm trying to make this easy and give you all like a step by step. Hopefully y'all are liking this because we haven't gotten a whole lot of opportunities on our live streams to actually walk through a trade live. But this is what it looks like. Yeah, let's go for that previous week high. Getting some speed coming up here. So now, same thing again. You do it all over again, right? So this is what I was explaining like months ago and throughout the course. There is no real like special strategy to each and every play setup. There's a lot of overlap. Now, yes, different setups will have different locations, different key levels, different expectations of behaviors at different setups and different strategies. However, the thing you watch on order flow is always going to be the same set of things over and over and over again. So once you get order flow down, you literally do that everywhere in the chart. It's always the same before the battle, at the battle, and after the battle, the resolution. Nope, stop that. What a nice break. What a nice break. And yeah, again, could have got in here on that third tap, could have got in here in that reaccumulation, just like we were explaining here live. This is what I do every single day. And it's just the same old thing over and over and over again. And that's when like when you start getting really good at trading, yeah, sometimes it does get a little boring because it does get a little bit repetitive. Um this one has great structure to it. So let's go back actually. I want to see this on TPO actually. Prefer TPO over here now. Very, very nice, clean. All right, so we have a nice selling tail. No poor high there. Okay, nice. So we are coming into an area where we do have a naked point of control. 65,820 around that area here. That's right around that monthly level, a little before it. Not on Bybit though, just on Binance. So it all depends on what exchange you're using. Yeah, so I'm still interested in that trade idea here, which it looks like could get a nice scalp. Very potential to come back down to the trend line here that we broke for a retest. And that would have a nice confluence with the value area high. So that's something I'd be looking for as well. If you did miss the long so far, and if we do get that pullback for another potential continuation play. So the way I'm looking at that is you break, right? You have your breakout trades, whether it be a breakout of the value area high, people are trading the trend lines, people are just trading these structural highs. So nonetheless, you have a major break, want to see a pullback, and then a nice reaccumulation form into like a nice little bull flag pattern, right? So again, same thing over and over and over again. Really want to see this daily taken, this daily level from way back here, daily SFP. And hopefully we SFP catching this trade here into this weekly in the order block, all the while creating a higher time frame SFP. Now, the context on that, since this is a higher time frame SFP, I want you to be aware what this can look like, okay? On like a 15-minute time frame, you could have all this mess right here. And that's what it's going to look like in a lower time frame. But maybe a 4-hour, 12-hour, or preferably the daily close, it's going to look like that. So you need to keep in the back of your head what things look like on multiple time frames. And when you're looking at higher time frame SFPs, yeah, you might get an SFP like like this on the 15-minute, but then it comes up, builds more, and that's when you have to walk up the time frames to the higher time frames to see if those 4-hour candles actually close under, or maybe it's the daily candle, whichever, right? So you have to walk it up on these higher time frame plays. All right. Let's go for that previous week high. Let me turn on my intraday levels again. And that is pretty much our daily high. So both of them will be swept. Okay. So let's look at how this wall is treating us. That's a pretty hefty wall. I'm not going to lie. So we're paying attention to these two numbers here. Okay. That one pulled. They had enough. They probably got some of that was probably filled and consumed. Oh, they're back. And I have my filter at like 250. So if it gets below 250, you're not going to see it up here. So that's why you see it flashing on and off. But again, pay attention to your order book profile here. All the same. So you just got 1,000 right here. So now that sell wall of about, what was it, 260 was gone. And continue to take the highs. This is the moment where I'm going to start trailing my stop loss up pretty aggressively, because now we're starting to get overextended. So I'm just trying to lock in more. I've locked in a lot of profit for the day. I'm more than happy with what I've locked in for the day. So that was a hell of a rejection. Unfinished business at the highs. So I would like to see that come back up. There we go. Come back. Come back. Nice. Nice aggression. Nice aggression here. Quick look at positioning throughout this move. That's exactly what what we were talking about. That's exactly what we wanted to see, right? Back here, I was saying that, hey, we want some of this stuff over here. We got that. Beautiful. Sustained aggression from new longs coming into the market, not just solely forced exits, right? So this is not a hollow move. It's actually got some people with skin in the game. And that matters, right? Matters a lot. Okay, I want to take a look at this real quick on the 15-minute cluster. Yeah, that's really clean. We do have a finished auction at the top on the 15. Okay, so it did fill out. It did fill out on the 5 as well. Okay, so let's go back over here really quick. Starting to see the first signs of that reaccumulation. Looks a little thin this time, especially compared to this, but oftentimes kind of cools off a little bit. We see CVD continually rising. What a nice vertical spike on this one. So it's getting that divergence here on the bearish side. I don't have many contracts left in this. I'm going to go ahead and take small, just one more contract here. I'm just slowly scaling out of my position and moving the stop loss up. Go back over here, take a look at this. It's reassessed on the 4 hour, zoom out. When you make big moves, always zoom back out. Take a look at all your major time frames: daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, the 5. Get readjusted. Don't always just stay zoomed in. Recalibrate with your session volume profiles, everything. Where are we at? How is this current fixed range profile changing? Is it changing? Is it staying the same? So right now, the value area high has not migrated up here, but that's one thing I'm watching for next. Because if we trap value back into fair value again, that's going to be one of the first signals where I would potentially be taking more profit, guarding my trade, expecting some kind of retracement. Guess we can go ahead and take this one off. That one has been busted through. All right. How's everyone doing in the chat? Damn, y'all killing it, man. Oh, yeah. All right. So, do y'all like these kinds of streams where we kind of walk through live moves and stuff like that? Hopefully, it's, helping. Maybe see some of the things y'all are learning, from the course in action, right? I think that always helps everybody. Um, of course, there's going to be a lot more coming with trade recaps and capturing these things live as well. So, we're going to have a live trade recap archive here before too long. And there's just going to be tons of these examples, whether they be hindsight or live, depending on whether or not I can catch them. But hopefully, we start catching these on our New York Open streams more and more as well, which I'm sure we will. It is prime time for this kind of action. And you know what? I totally forgot to check for news today. Did we have any news today? Okay. Nothing. Really? Okay. And again, we just confirmed that 4-hour SFP here, but it's got to maintain, right? Why? Because this is a daily level. So you'll have to walk this up. 12 hours not closed yet. The daily is not closed yet. So, yes, we could get a 4-hour SFP come back down, but that doesn't mean the daily is going to SFP, right? So, just always keep these different time frames in the back of your head, depending on what kind of level is the level based on, or what kind of time frame is that level based on. So that's what makes most sense to me when I think a lot of people forget about that. And I know I sure the fuck did, especially, in the very beginning of my career in doing this, and especially when I was getting into first time of getting into SMC, where a lot of people, really kind of drive into your head 1 minute time frame, 1 minute time frame, right? And I had not the best of success at first with doing that. So yeah, had to learn from my mistakes, but hopefully y'all won't have to learn from as many mistakes as I made. Because that is one thing that kind of tripped me up was dealing with the fractal nature of price action and understanding like why does some moves come into an order block and just leave it with one tap versus creating a whole pattern in an order block? When and where does that make sense, right? But if you kind of position yourself in different time frames, like say for example, if you were a swing trader, like what position are you interested in getting in? More than likely you're interested in getting in here and taking profits here, or even much larger, right? And a lot of scalp traders might be trading off VWAP and just taking it to this high. Or they're 1 minute SMC traders. They're just taking a trade from a level and targeting your liquidity areas. So a lot of ICT and SMC teaches, liquidity to imbalance, or liquidity area to fair value gap to liquidity. And that does work sometimes, but again, back test it for yourself. There's some holes in that because it's missing some key pieces. But if you get your like mindset and like, okay, is this area where potential big money, where swing traders are trying to take this to like a really good distance away, that gives you your expectations. And then if you start trending like this, okay, well, now we're not so much in this range anymore, and we can expect more expansion until that expansion really puts in one of these, one of these, one of these, right? So I know at first this might seem hard and kind of just crazy and chaotic, but it's really not, to be honest with you. It's actually much more simple than people make it out to be. And yeah, I know what I'm explaining is not as simple as just a solid trend line type of trading. But we're not building a fucking rocket here either to go to Mars. It's at least much more simple than that. Like, so I don't want anyone to get discouraged. Is kind of what I'm getting at. It is much more simple than you think. And I'm coming back to the chat, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Glad to have you here, Suf. And I'm glad to see you and Suf and Frank starting to take more trades and what they've learned here. Y'all have come a far way. I think both of y'all are doing really well. I think everyone's doing really well in their journey here. And don't be afraid to post up your trades. This is why y'all are part of the community, so you can have me go over your trades. Um, so anytime, post them up in the Discord, and I will definitely help y'all out with that. I do not mind whatsoever. I'm not like some of these other Discords where I'm barely around, or you get half-ass help or half-ass responses. I hope y'all have seen by now the depth of my responses most of the time, if not every damn time. Because I do take this seriously. This is looking like a great SFP. So let's come down here in the 15. No, don't like it. 5. Okay, so now we're getting that separate structure here. Okay. Going to draw in our new 30. Put an alarm there. I will definitely get taken out if we come back down to that. All good. We have anything a little further up, and I'm going to go ahead and put our overlap here. We have a 10-minute block there as well, and a little 5-minute block there. Same color order block, but I'm not going to take that one this time. Have plenty. No, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to take this as the next little area, and I'm actually going to extend that to cover that fair value gap. So we don't have any intraday levels around, and we have a massive lack of volume here. So this is going to look like, fair value gap, maybe your 10 right here. It's going to look like single prints on TPO. So I either want it to bounce right here at the top of these singles, or it's going to get filled. If they get filled, I'll be out of my long. So I'm hoping for reaccumulation pattern here. Wow, that is a lot of aggression come in on the sell side, and they are already getting stuck. Let me go over here really quick. I need to see some microstructure, how this is forming. Okay. Hopefully we break this microstructure, make that rounded bottom right here. You can somewhat see it already forming, but you're also paying attention to the top side as well. Very premature. Not a time to take a trade, just watching to see if this actually creates that pattern that you're wanting here. Nice. Let's go down on the 1 minute right here really quick. I want to take a look. Actually, I'm going to go to the forbidden 30-second. This is what I like to do when we start to SFP. Okay. It's a nice liquidity pocket catch. So far, coming back into the range, this mini internal range. Yes, super low time frame. I get it. And look at what you trapped. Would you look at that? So this is the point now where these guys need to step it up. That's looking pretty good if we had some more volume here. So far, looking good though. So far, looking good. Let's see positioning as well. Okay, looking good. Starting to look up anyways. At least it's not purple or a bearish candle on open interest or net longs. So this is the first signs of this reaccumulation taking place, starting to form, right? Got to step it up with some volume here. We are getting into lunch hour. That kind of sucks. I mean, why not? Just push it. Just push it. Why not? Hell yeah. Nice displacement away from that tiny, tiny mini accumulation. You broke that structure. And you could have looked at this little micro trend line or structure to break or a nice little trap of these guys here. Again, we were looking at that here as well. The massive number of cells that got caught there. They're going to feel some pain. And I would like to see it break these highs with strength. I want to see it come up above these highs with strength. Or else I'm just going to think that, oh, well, we're just coming back into the golden zone here, sweeping the internal highs and then going lower. However, this is forming a reaccumulation pattern, and I don't see any nice redistribution patterns, or I'm sorry, a distribution pattern, not a redistribution. That is a little bit of weakness there. Got to give it some time to form, though. This is a 30-second time frame. This is why I don't like to stay on that. You will get faked out by stupid little candles. Yeah. So it's can't really hang above previous week high. So that is bear sign number one. I do like the reaccumulation pattern here. However, it actually would look better if we would come down and make a proper, larger reaccumulation here. So don't be surprised if this comes back down. Don't get super bearish. Again, this is, you just got to draw on your chart and vision what could happen, right? Learn from hindsight, learn the patterns. Then you know what to expect in these areas. Now, this is a low time frame order block, so it might not, be this wide necessarily. You might make a quick drop, then you might do one of these, like more of an oblong head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders, or Wyckoff Model 2 accumulation. So it might not be a pretty one since it's a lower time frame version. All right. Any questions in the chat? Anybody catch any of the longs, any of the continuations, any breakouts, et cetera, et cetera? And by the way, I'm working very deeply on the last module of the order flow course, the execution module. I have to say, this one of these lessons I'm about to put out might be one of the best lessons yet. I really like how these are turning out. And I'm really kind of taking my time on these because, I mean, obviously, right? It's when you pull the trigger. So it's going to hold a lot of responsibility in these lessons. So I'm trying to make sure, one, that they're condensed and not going to take too terribly long. I don't want them to be, 45 minutes long or anything, like 30 minutes long. Now we are going to show quite a few examples of all the different ways. And they all kind of come together too. So that's not quite just, different separate ways. They kind of work in a rhythm and a sequence. But so far, I really, like how these are turning out because I think it's structured and framed in a way where I think people are going to catch on to it very easily. And to be honest with you, the execution portion of this course isn't really anything that complicated. We've already gotten past all the most complicated parts. So, really, really excited to get this one out. I like that 5 minute rejection candle here into that pocket. That's looking pretty good.
I short I
Yeah.
shorted that.
You son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, we're at the second deviation band. I
I'm
mean,
gonna I'm gonna
volume is
log it
dying
now.
out. No, let's get the rejection. Come on, push down. Come on, reject from here and push down.
See, unfortunately, I mean, we could sit here for a little while, through lunch hour
Yeah,
too,
yeah, yeah.
and it might get a
Yeah,
little
trust me.
painful for anyone. Um, that's why I was
I
saying, I
put
was
my
like,
stop loss to break even already. So,
yeah, I wish this wasn't happening on lunch hour, to be honest with you. But is what it is. We already
yeah,
caught
yeah,
some nice moves.
absolutely.
Can't complain.
Come on, just push a little bit down, not up, down, down, down. No
So at
fucking
this point,
sellers.
I'm looking at this little guy here, and then looking at that little guy there. And really could be a little bit more like this because I'm noticing that CME did not have this crazy wick. There we go. We do that 1 minute order block here. Let's take a look. Where's my book up? Where'd you go? There we are. So yeah, you have a little 1 minute order block right here, and you do see some liquidity showing up, ready to defend that area. And I was gonna say they're starting to disappear, but they're coming back. They're coming back. They're trying.
Come on, push now.
And you did get that nice distribution pattern here. So even though you had one here, it forms back and forth. So you got to watch it in sequence. What's building out? And really, I'd like to take this slow, coming into this a little bit larger of a demand zone here and forming that larger reaccumulation pattern here. I think that would look a lot better. And if you do that, you're going to leave behind a nice liquidity wave to help you move up. Yeah, starting to form slightly rounded bottom here, super micro. Sometimes when you get these though, it just flashes down. So you have to be ready
Yeah,
for that
that
flash down to take this
I'm
liquidity into here.
I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
No, you are. Right. Um,
I'm ready for it. Come on.
yeah, looks like it might come into this block here just below these lows. But you can tell things are kind of going sideways in CBD, cooling off, after a big pump,
Yeah.
usually put in that range. And that's why I pull my range out, right? I like to look at the range, and it could be from here to this low put in. Or you could also look at it like that too. That works for me. So we did first hit this liquidity pocket number one, came back in. I might move that down here now, but I'm still keeping in mind that we are coming into that initial range here as well. And zoom out. So what we want to see here is exactly this. I'm looking for this. Pump, reaccumulate. Pump, reaccumulate. And this is where those BART trades come into play, the break and retests. Even though you're trending, I mean, everyone should know this by now, right? Very, very simple. Even though you're trending up, when you come into this area, you're looking for a reversal on a lower time frame. So even though it's, continuation moves, it's a reversal inside the continuation. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Red. Did I put the link in? Man, I'm really bad at this. Okay, I did not. See, being a I don't know what the hell I am. Someone on YouTube, it's kind of like trading. You got to learn a lot of shit, and I got to get used to this. Um, but I did put the link to the YouTube in the chat. And I did make it public this time. See, I actually fixed one thing. Let's check the stream health. Okay, looking good, looking okay. But if you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, by the way, it should just automatically pop up when it goes public. And it will also pop up here as well. However, I think it only pops up here on the live streams after the fact, like when it's recorded. Oh, kind of like this over here a little bit better. Is this where we're going to see the turnarounds? Honestly, I'd like it to pump up a little bit and then come down, then start to break up. Get people longing from this area, stop them out, stop these guys out, so and fill a bigger bag here. Just another scenario. Doesn't have to happen. Putting in a little sweep. Support to resistance flip. So this is the time to break or fall as we are coiling up here. So Trend lines can help you give expectations as well. And this is going to be more so in the execution section here. But when you see something getting to the edge of something like this, coiling up, you have signs, pre signal signs setting you up for the breakout.
It's dump it now.
So, what did we get here? Made a new high, but CVD making a new low. Okay, so now we're flushing these longs. Take a look at positioning really quick. See how much pain they're feeling. Seeing those longs come out here. Nothing crazy. We had like 1,000 here, 234 there. Again, these numbers are not exact. You should know that by now by going through the course, but good approximation to be to tell you at least what it's, the behavior and the trend of what's going on. If this were to make a very big flash down, and then you see shorts just kind of coming in hot and heavy, that's when I think a bigger move is going to be made, and we'll probably end up coming back down to here, or hell, potentially even giving this entire move back. You know, it's not the first time we've seen this little guy, right? I don't know how many times I've drawn this pattern. I swear to y'all, I'm going to trademark that. That'll be the worst thing in my career if I'm known for a weird dinosaur pattern. I guess it'll be meme worthy though. Okay, looks like they're getting stopped by something here. Running out of fuel here. You had a nice push here. Can't continue on just yet. See if they continue to push down. This is where I'm going to go over here now. Take a look. Start to look at that microstructure. So this is also a great, just very good example of how I jump back and forth between all my charts, right? So they're all different tools for a reason. Like I'm not going to go here and look at microstructure. That's what this is made for. This is perfected by Bookmap. Not only that, I get this micro CVD. That's a weird little pattern. I'd like to see that come back down actually. Doesn't have to. Oops. Yeah. So what I was talking about before, we could be seeing this now. So this could potentially be your tap two of this reaccumulation. Come down again, or you make the more common model, kind of like that. Or sometimes it does fake you out, right? And this is really nothing. That's your tap one. Then we get a tap two and tap three. You have to look for those extended models into something like that. And that is why when I take these tap ones and tap twos, I lock it in and I move my stop loss accordingly because I can always find a way to get back into the trade. More times than not. Sometimes you can't, right? And it also depends on, is it my first trade of the day? Is it my first trade of the week? So depending on a whole host of things, it all goes into different variables and how I decide on what I want to do. Tiny 1 minute order block here as well. Could just start to get that very, very small microstructure movement building out this reaccumulation pattern. It's just going to take some time. So if we do kind of continue in the same rate, got about 22 minutes there. So call it maybe 44, 45 minutes. So around 1 a.m., maybe this thing will actually have that reaccumulation and that spring put in. And yeah, it's not always going to be equal timing or anything like that. I'm just, trying to envision things for just, trying to get my expectations grounded. And so that way I know what to look for, right? I kind of have like an idea in my mind how I want it to play out. And sometimes you don't get it, but other times you do. And that's when it's a very like no brainer style of trade setup. So when your plans, expectations meet reality, it's so much easier to pull the damn trigger, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here is like I'm trying to map everything out, not to be predictive and try to be right, just so I gain some kind of clarity from the chaos. And so I make these clicks with more confidence. So we had that nice rejection put in, 1 minute order block, the trend line cross here where that pattern's kind of crossing up. Let's take it already. Let's dump it. Ooh, I actually wanted to go back and look at TPO. I forgot. Yeah, I wanted to take a look. So we do have some singles right here. Let's come down to 65, 121 on buy bit here. See what the TPO looks like here as well. Okay. So we have these singles starting here. Y'all probably don't even see that because I know it's extremely dark. Where are those little guys at? You see the end of the single prints, but I really wish they would highlight the single print from the row itself. So you can see the start of the single prints right here. I'll just mark it out like that. So that green line is the start of the single prints. And that white line, we'll just actually mark both of those up like that. And then we can get rid of that. So that space in between here is where the single prints live. So we could absolutely come back down and really start to put in a much larger reaccumulation here. I wonder what this looks like here now on like a really high time frame. We do have that massive 12-hour. And yeah, I realize a lot of people wouldn't take that. I get that. And you're starting to make that daily demand level right here. And yeah, I get that we didn't close above there. I know some people will kind of gripe about that, but we still have our order blocks here. They're around that same area, so I'm just gonna go with these. Oops. Want another little alarm right here. I'll put one right above that daily as well. But yeah, so far, 4 hour SFP was very nice. We saw that in the moment. You saw if you were trading this without order flow and just with candle closes, we mentioned that in real time of when to actually pull the trigger when that candle actually closed below that daily level. And of course, you can always use order flow to zero in on when to pull the trigger a little bit more precisely, more confidently. Another tap on the back line or the back side of this line. But now we are starting to get that slightly rounded bottom here. So let's come over here real quick. So we're starting to trap more shorts down here. No positive delta. Pressure still coming in hard from the sellers. So just watching this play by play. But look what you're leaving behind here now. Not only are we trapping sellers here, but we can really start to knock all of them out all the way up here, giving us more power to hopefully break these walls down. That's 356. That one's pretty hefty there. No, I thought that said 556. Both of them are 3. Yeah. So I would probably guess this is the same person since they're so close to each other, or at least they were. Very potentially someone trying to defend this whole zone right here. And even here. See what's going on there. Yeah. And that one is in the 5s. So we definitely have some walls to break through here. I'm just taking note of these stacked imbalances right here. Oftentimes these areas get kind of retested. It's nice. These shorts starting to come out. Some of them already being forced out, getting stopped out. Maybe people just manually closing their trade. They don't have the confidence in it at this point that it's going down any further. Okay. So now you see that accumulation over here as well. You see price going higher, CVD going lower, starting to get that divergence there. This might be the start of your turnaround here. Come on, let's at least get up to that wall. Well, they didn't put up much of a fight. They probably got partially filled and pulled. But they started to pull right as price was coming into that area. Just keep going. Let's see that all the way up. Now you kind of see hindsight what we were seeing in real time. That accumulation starting to come up there. Massive spike on CBD. And this is why, if you were taking this accumulation, you remember the tap one, tap two thing. This could be your tap one, and now this could be your tap two. So when I'm taking, not all the time, and it really depends. In this case, you're already extended across the chart. So it makes sense when you're entering in these reaccumulations. If you're getting in a tap two, lock it in and trail that stop loss. But that's not financial advice. It's what I do. Um, and it's just because I know that they can get taken out and then a larger accumulation forms, right? Just as we were mapping out before, every scenario that could come across. And that looks like a news candle. That looks like a Darth Maul candle. 121, about 200 aggressive longs right here. Right back into the pocket. Did dip into those singles just a little bit. Nice rejection so far. So let's see if that can hang. Yeah. Still just looks like a larger reaccumulation to me. Now we could always just continue to dump down. And then you get
That
like
the
this.
long signal?
Yeah. You could get a long, yeah, a long single print down into here. And you could be looking at this as a weird oblong Model 2 here, or weird shaped head and shoulders. And this could be the back test here now to drop it.
It
And
could be.
I don't like that because it looks fucking weird, right? You could see
Yep,
it like that, or you could see it as that, the spring, you know?
it is. It is.
But sometimes it happens. And if anyone's familiar with ES and NQ, you know that you get these all the time. And I pointed this out before. I try to make it a point to also go over the ugly ones just as much as the pretty ones, right? Because you're going to see some that are going to try to trick you, right? Same way, if this is an accumulation, people might think one, two, maybe this is a tap three. You never know, right? And then you get long, tons of people get long only to get flushed out. And hell, even this could be your tap one here, right? So there it is. It could be something like this. Oh, sorry, that was tap one, right? And it just be spread out more across time. And yeah, if this is a distribution, that's a funky come on, paintbrush. That's a funky distribution here. Yeah, I mean, it's still looking good to me. Like on the 5, this still looks like a just a bigger bull flag. That's what I want to see here. Okay. Yeah, no, that does make sense now, doesn't it? With the dino pattern. Very clever, Hallinan. Very clever. uh, Great movie though, right? Classic. That's a nice little pump. That's got some nuts behind it there. It's really more so more of a thinner book. You don't have crazy aggression like you did on here just yet. The total volume's quite lacking, but the walls just aren't, well, wasn't as big till you get to this little area here. They're definitely going to need a little bit more push for that. What is going on with this pulse thing? I've been trying to mess around with this trade pulse. And honestly, I haven't really found the right settings for it in the way that I want it to act. Yeah, I don't like seeing this here. This could get painfully choppy and boring. Come on, let's see some action, please. Man, open interest is really kind of flatlining there. Started to have trades come out. This was your biggest push down on open interest so far after this rally. So I am looking at this to see if we start making a bigger bearish candle here. I think we're going to get a bigger pullback. Either that or a nice trap of sellers. Definitely building out a lot of volume right here. That's a good sign of acceptance, by the way. The more time we spend in this area above everything that we created this morning, this internal range here, the better sign is that you're getting acceptance for higher prices. And the market is going to start considering this a part of fair value. Why is the profiles not loading here? Interesting. That's weird. Okay. That might be broken too. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind coming up to this neck and point and control, or even just coming up and taking out that poor high that we were talking about on the higher time frames. This one right here. No selling tell. Let's take a look at this here. I mean, as much as I would like that to happen now because we're so close to it, if I had to create a path, a prediction, a narrative, whatever, um, I would kind of think of it like this. So if we put in that daily SFP here, that's going to be a high time frame SFP, and that usually takes us a good distance. I wouldn't mind it's coming back down and taking out all of these stops. So, you have that low of that rising channel, maybe come down, look like you're going to have a nice long here, but you get really faked out. They break it, back test it, and then put in a model 2 here, creating a much larger model 2 to then take this high, but not only to take that high, but to really send us back up into this area. Because, I mean, to get back here, to retest any of this range way up here that broke us down, you're going to have to put in, a similar size accumulation pattern here. And if we really, don't want to get too terribly bullish right now, but for the extra swing guys or investing guys here, I mean, yeah, do I want lower? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, but for a bullish scenario, if we want to retest this range here, even this here, we're going to have to make a massive, massive accumulation pattern. And so if that were to happen, I would be looking at this for tap 1, tap 2, and then somewhere kind of like this scenario, putting in a tap 3, but it might actually come back up here and then put in a much bigger tap 3 here, or much bigger accumulation. And really, I would kind of look at it like here, let me take all this, make it a little bit cleaner. Bear with me. So you're coming down, and then this accumulation, once you put that tap 3 in somewhere around here, this entire accumulation brings you up here. And then you create that third tap to bring you up, or could sweep these highs, then come down. And then this is a just massive accumulation to revisit either this area, or hell, maybe even new all-time highs. But again, none of that has to happen. I'm just kind of envisioning things here and taking a look at different ideas. I know some people here do like to swing trade and like, buy spot for your investments. But we have a lot of time before we get into those areas. So we'll be updating those as we get closer to forming something like that here. Let's go back in, see what's going on. Is this pattern going to fulfill or not? I still would like to think it is. Oh, wrong way. Still looking for this rounded bottom. Still currently creating a CBD divergence here, coming into these areas where people got trapped on the short side. Nice rejection so far. I don't like how all these point of controls are stacked right here. Really needs to break all that mess. But that looks like a decent formation. I'm not gonna lie. That does. That looks pretty clean. I like that better than what this was forming here. Anytime you get a bigger accumulation model, I'm definitely gonna like that more than those micro ones, right? Push it. That might be the one that breaks it. And that was a good mitigation into this block too. It's not like it was a super shallow like this one was, right? Sometimes that does happen, but I really like to see, dip down into it a good, at least 50%. That way, I mean, and the reason I'm saying that is it kind of gives me the idea that, okay, this is kind of mitigated for the most part. And if we were to come down any further, you're going to get closer and closer to the edge of this order block. And then it's just not going to look like a really good accumulation, or it's just going to be so close to the edge where it's like, well, shit, they might as well just break it and bring this thing down further and just fill these singles here, right? But this, so far, I like the formation of that to go ahead and take this high. So pretty thin liquidity, nothing too crazy up here. This wasn't lunch hour. I guess they're about to come back from lunch hour though. So maybe we will get the pump here. Maybe we will. I mean, that's looking pretty good for an accumulation, at least the form of it here. Starting to get that nice delta here, just very low volume. We've got to get some good volume coming in. But the buyers have the right idea here, just not enough of them. If we can get above this high and this high and this high, you're going to start to shake some of the shorts out. So weak, unreal. Come on, do not come back into that channel. Stop it right there. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, you did have a decent sized wall right there, too. Man, they're stacking it, aren't they? Oh, there it goes. Damn. It's not what I want to see. I don't want to see this little guy here at all. And I don't want to see this either. At least we're walking these pointed controls up here in the clusters. That's at least one positive sign I can see here.
But that's a bit weird with the POCs. Did you change the settings of the clusters?
I might have. I've been messing with these ever since they changed it.
Yeah, you're on daily and on auto.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
usually what it's set on. And you can put it on
Yeah, but
candle, but I like the daily
no,
shading.
put it on daily and put the row size on custom
Mm-hmm.
or global, or put it on global.
I mean my global is
And
75, so I'd have to bump it up maybe.
yeah,
Hundo,
you see now
125, 150,
it looks a little bit different now.
2 hundo. I really wish they would bring back the true auto scaling to this. I missed that already.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's going to be a situation to where you're going to have to really pay attention to volume and then readjust this to the daily volume.
But what's this ATR length? I mean, how do you adjust it? Because it's still adjustable. It says auto, but then you have ATR length to adjust.
Yeah, so the
Because it also
ATRs,
changes the settings.
yeah, so the 14 is your common ATR length or what your average true range is. When you get into like ATR indicators, that's going to be the most common setting. Um, and that's basically kind of trying to base your tick off the the range, the your average range, like the range of each candle, for example,
So would you recommend to
or the
stick
range for the
to
day.
would you recommend to stick to the auto and daily and ATR?
I don't like any of it right now,
Same.
to be honest with you. So I'm not going to really suggest something I don't particularly like. You just have to kind of look at what, kind of tick size makes sense. I mean, it's all the same, to be honest with you. It's not really that much different. Yeah, some of these like points of control, stacked imbalances will change, but when you think about it, if you remember, back when we were doing the auto scale thing, if you you know pull it like that, it's going to look,
Hmm.
it's going to give you the effect of looking like kind of like this here. But if you scrunch it back down, it should look more like that.
Hmm.
So that's what
Yeah.
the auto effect was doing for you. Um, but now you have to just pick one and set it and forget it type situation, which doesn't make sense to me based on the auto. But now they're basing the auto off of the ATR length, which is your average true range.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have a range that's really wide being put in for the day and it's on daily,
Hmm.
it's going to be based off of that. Um, which is, it's not horrible, but it's not what I really like. Um, so I'm gonna have to mess around with it, and I'm gonna have to talk to um, the Market Monkey to see if
Hmm.
they plan to. It might be the fact that they're just gonna keep it like this. Um, you know what? I wonder if we set that to 0. No, I was gonna see if you could like disable. Oh, you can't set it to 0. It automatically goes to 1. See, I was gonna see if I could take that out of the the indicators, the way it's doing the math. You kind of
Hmm.
just disable the ATR, or would it just go automatically to auto? But no, the answer is no to that. um,
Yeah.
so yeah, you're really just left with picking a custom setup or going to an ATR linked setup. You really just have two. And the global is just what your global tick per row is set on everything that you see in all your indicators, but it's no different than
Hmm.
coming in here and pushing custom and going to this. That means that this custom will apply this ticks per row just on this indicator, and it shouldn't affect this. But let's see, does that? Yeah. So you get 200 ticks on this, but everything else you're seeing is getting 300.
Hmm.
And this was at one point auto, but I can't see how to set this to auto. Maybe if you, okay. Okay. So if you just delete that out of there, it goes back to auto for everything else. See, I don't, not really doing that on the profile and the heat map though either. Weird. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you right now, to be honest with you. Yeah. Unfortunately. But yeah, I would just choose something where it's not too aggregated or too grouped together if you don't like that. And but
Hmm.
not something where you're going to have to zoom into where it's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
20, where it's like, okay, I got to zoom in and look at all these levels, and then when you put it in a big candle, you're going to have to scroll up frantically trying to figure out where you are. So obviously that's not going to
Hmm.
work, right? So something
Yeah.
like 200, 100, one, maybe one, even 150 wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I could deal with 150 like that. But again, when volume changes and your average true range changes, say for example, if you're extending when these candles, you know, and it looks like that, you're gonna have to scroll up, or you could just change it to like 300, and then you get everything just a little bit more aggregated into bigger tick
Hmm.
zones. Um, so yeah, so if you're in a range, you're more likely going to have it lower. If you're really extending, making these kind of candles, you're probably going to want a little bit higher.
Okay.
Therefore, these candles aren't broken down in a million different cells, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In
Yeah.
each one of these rows, Man,
All
I'm
right.
really
Dump
liking
or are we
this.
going to dump?
He could. It absolutely could. But man, I do like the formation here. But then you kind of looking out for these micro distributions all at the same time. And then it's like, okay, is
Yeah.
this really your tap one, tap two, tap three here? Could we just be creating more of an extended model? I do like this. I mean, that's good looking to me so far. This rejection shit here is not that great looking though.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There was a lot of longs coming in, but and shorts closing a little bit, but then nothing. We
let's
still
take a
can push.
look. So that was one nice push on the longs here,
Mm-hmm.
but they got stuck by a wall.
Yeah.
And you have unfinished auction here. And that's the whole thing, right? So it gets you, can really get you confused. So it's like, okay, you might see zero print somewhere there, but what does that look like on a 150? Same, okay. 500. When consolidating or aggregating that much, it takes that away. But then again, yeah, I could argue that that's a little high for this. Not too high for this stuff back here, though. But as we start to create a smaller range, it's like, yeah, okay, I do kind of want to go back down to a smaller tick size. And that's why I loved doing the auto resolution by Zoom. So, man, I do miss that. All right, guys, I think I'm going to hop off here now. Things are getting a wee bit boring. I do think this is still going to pump up now, but I am starving and I really need to get back to the course, to be honest with you, because I want to get this finished and getting it out to y'all. But I do appreciate everyone for being here. Hopefully, y'all like this stream. We actually caught some nice moves today. We walked through them on stream, so I know that was really nice. Um, so yeah, and if you can, go on YouTube, follow me, hit the like button, and all those weird, crazy things. I think they have like a hype button now on your phone. And if you can get on your phone and press the hype button, apparently that does some crazy, amazing shit. So do appreciate
Okay, man.
I do appreciate everyone for being here. And I will
Thanks, bro.
update y'all. Yeah, definitely. I'll update you on the Discord if I see anything else. And following through with this trade, I'm still in the long. So I'll keep you all updated and I'll also see y'all again. Actually, tomorrow I will not see y'all on live stream. I got a doctor's appointment in the morning, maybe in the afternoon though. But I'll keep you all updated, right? So
Okay.
talk to y'all guys later. Appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah. See you, man.